Well, I put to anybody who sees this video and wish everybody else holidays out there since me or my wife's not going to get nothing anymore. But at least she now talking, she's trying to make you know trying to make the notion that you know I guess all this stuff that she goes to is I guess she's all I know. I guess I can put it the best way I know how to put it. I guess all this these false things out there and all this church stuff, and they get it in everybody's head, and they think everybody here on earth just gonna forgive everybody every time somebody does something to them. I have a certain part of me that can do certain things and can compromise, but when it comes to how hard it hurts and how much that somebody's done it over and over and has never sit down, never wanted to talk things out. My wife's right. I was raised up different from this. I had no idea that these people could be so rude. At least mine waited till after I graduated to do anything stupid or silly. Changing their ways and going to do things that they want to do. And at least, like I said, at least they waited till I was in my 20s. I mean, I can't speak for everybody's family. Some people's families, a lot of them might actually be doing something nice, and something like I have in my head that I could easily see me and my wife doing. But our people didn't work that way. Either side. I told my wife if I can't get along with them 10 years ago, I certainly couldn't do it now. That's just simple fact is everybody's like I told her, everybody's a lot older. Everybody want me to be happy because they've got all these other people around that I don't know, have never seen. I'm not going to lie to these people what these fucking little kids and what these little people have done to me. I gave them equal opportunities. I gave them the same opportunities that my wife wanted me to give them. These are the same people that she's talking about that wasted their fucking time and their goddamn gas, come over, even in the car couldn't get along with them. Their music taste has gone. Everything my wife's told, and I don't have time to tell all on here, but just kind of summarize everything my wife said, and she tried to tell me mostly good things. And I ain't saying they were lies, but the way they've changed, it makes her look that way because they don't want to admit that they listen to all this music that I like and still do to this very day. I try to add one or two every now and then if I like something, or think somebody's got something I want to listen to. I might add it on my playlist if I like it. But I don't like hunting. Don't know why my wife thought that. Don't know why anybody, don't like fishing. There goes another thing out the window. There's football they watch instead of something good on TV, instead of a Christmas movie or just something. When they're playing games, for example, when they're playing games, they're yelling and screaming and hollering and carrying on above a volume that I just cannot put up with. And so I just couldn't handle it. I mean, I'm sorry, it wasn't good enough for me. It wasn't my taste. It don't matter about what they had going on then or in the past. In past tense, yeah, maybe if there might stood a little bit of a chance, maybe. But there's no guarantees. Just because my wife likes somebody or likes me or thinks I'm a cool dude, and I do try to get along with people. But like I said, it's my biggest problem because It depends on who they are, and I don't need to go up to nobody. If they want to come up to me, I'll give them my time. Where they got that, I don't know. I'm not going and being rude. Wasn't raised that way. I'm the new, or was the new person in town. All they had to do, instead of fighting and fussing over her stupid medicines and all her fucking bullshit they had tied up for those 2 or 3 months, they could have used that 2 or 3 months to come up here and fucking see me. Most of her people live, be honest with you, they live about an hour and a half away or less. If they could have took any of those times, if they took those fucking little kids of theirs to them ball games and all that other bullshit that they had going on, they could have easily invited me or my wife or some portion of us there. I mean, I don't have to go every time, but I mean, I'd like to go as many as I can. I mean, I'm not knocking if they want to do something once or twice without her occasionally or something. I could sit there at the house and do what I always do here now. But the problem is, every chance they got, every chance, you know, whether it be her birthday, she wanted to go out and go do something. Chuck E. Cheese, for example. She wanted to do, she wanted to do the simplest thing in the world and go to the fair. You know, these fucking people that she talked good about said basically that, oh, I don't have time. And basically they said, oh, I've got better things to do. I gotta go home and I gotta get everybody. Yeah, you come at fucking 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at fucking in the evening. No wonder. If you really want to make the best of impressions on me and my wife, let us have a little say. I'm a simple person. I don't do anything hard. I don't try to make things hard on people. But I tell you, this would be a good way to get a lot of things out here off a fella's chest and kind of explain, you know, a good portion of why I can't get along with anybody, much less people I'm trying to get a lot of the stuff out about. But no, I just didn't go on Facebook and make up lies about anyone. I had no reason to do that. I have nothing to gain by lying on somebody. These were things I witnessed. Her people just wanted to make her out to be a liar. And that's up to them. That was their call, not mine. But that's what I'm saying. And I gave them their one chance. Very early on, you know, through about 3 months after we got married, and I will explain that, you know, and this could very well be something they brought up, and I'm not doubting it. Like I said, they didn't call me, they didn't text me, nothing. She had all the information there. If they wanted to call or text me, if they wanted to get to know me, we don't always have to be around each other 24/7. It's not what me and my wife said. The thing is, they take things that way. She had to literally text them, felt like 500 times or more, constantly, off and on, trying to get them, anybody, to go out there and eat. What they want to do, they're worried about their phones, they're worried about their work, they're worried about my wife's tried every little trick. There's not many tricks when you get as old as me and her is at this point. But I'm just saying everything she could think of. You know, and I can understand, you know, some people say, well, sometimes people can have little ups and downs and make things work. Yes, that's obviously true. And my wife does it all the time. But her people doesn't. I don't know about 25, 30 years ago, but I know as of 10 years ago, to this very day, they have not shown the type of people that I would like to think they are or were or had any. I told her if their heart is in their chest right now, it must be all black because they have no good heart whatsoever in them. Yes, they would want me at this current moment to just wipe all this away, make it all go away, and make them not have to own up to anything or admit to anything. Because these are the same type of people she praised, and I know they go around talking bad about me, and they'll lie to anybody they can get their hands on, or anybody they can stand in front of. They put on fake smiles. They're fake and all the things that I mean, like I said, the people they want you to like. You know, I would hate that to be in these people's shoes. You know, the people I don't know, for example. And all these little brats that my wife wants to say, well, she held them, and she probably did. Just like I did Darren. I've got pictures of me and Darren when we was little. I did the same thing. But you know, I eventually realized that they just ain't worth putting any time in no more. Everybody changes. Everybody wants to do what they want to do now. We're not back in our kid days. I'd do anything to get my kid days back, just about. I had more fun doing that, and I'm sure my wife could speak to that. There's a lot of things that we could point out that we got to do. Like I said, I didn't get to go to all these places she did, but it doesn't matter. You know, point is, you had fun wherever you went. Tried to, you know, best of our ability. I didn't like Rock City, but I tried to make the best out of it. You know what I mean? I didn't go back, but I made the best out of it. You know, there's one of the times that we had Dot, me, Darren, and Granny on that trip. But, you know, it's something that, you know, my grandmother at the time wanted to do. Well, her people have done that. My wife's people has not suggested not one thing or anything of anything like that. Not one place. Because you know what? They don't like people like my wife anymore. They have no feelings. They have no heart. They have no soul. They don't even like me. They ain't even really give me a chance. And the only thing they can do is say they like this shooting stuff on TV. That they like all this crap that Johnny Cash sings about. Or they like the, depending on who you talk to. Yeah, one time I was standing over there. I think it was the last gathering I went to. I won't say that it wasn't too hard, but it was kind of telling when my wife says, well, Derek, they want you to do this. And well, why don't they just come on and get their little ass up off their little seat and do it? If they want something to do with somebody. I'm not going in and doing that. They've got all this stuff they'd rather be doing, their phones, computers, and everything else. I don't know about their family history. If they wanted to sit there and tell me anything, they had their chances. Everybody had chances to do whatever it was they wanted to do. But the last time I was there, I remember before leaving, my wife had to go up and say, hey, me and Derek like to do this singing thing. We like to do blah, 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 and whatever. Right? Like, come on. They knew that 10 years ago. You know what? They didn't want to do it. They did whatever they wanted to do. and in that instance, she got them to say, oh, yeah, I think that was my wedding song or something. You know, but they didn't want to. They didn't really want to say that. They were just trying to make the best out of the situation because I was sitting there. You knew their butt was hurting to admit that. It's like trying to say, "Oh, I've changed with the times, and I've left all that good music away. I just don't have it in my heart to tell them what kind of music I used to listen to. They put all this stuff over, all this garbage on the radio. My wife don't, you know, but they do. And like I said, I'm not knocking a lot of the stuff that there is some good stuff. Like I said, there is some stuff out there technology wise that is good. The TVs are better, lot lighter. I mean, I would wish they could come up with something where you could take some cleaner and wipe the screens off. But for the most part, they don't have anything. I reckon that they can do about that. But you know, that's the only negative to TVs today. I mean, I've got me a microwave. Looks like the same microwaves I seen when I was a kid. I can go out and buy one for $70, $80, whatever, and I can have me a new microwave if I wanted. I don't have to buy nothing fancy. But a lot of this stuff that my wife wants done, she's never gonna get done because there's no room to compromise anywhere. Like I said, everybody's so older now. There's so much people now around, and there's a lot of things changed in 10 years. You think I'm gonna lie to these people's significant others and say all these nice things when they know I don't mean it? I don't want to lie to these people. If I met them, I'd want to take them home with me. And I don't want to do that because that's just crazy. Because you'd cause a riot out there if I told them the truth and I set them down, and they'd say I was lying, of course, and then they'd go up to everybody else and everybody have a riot going. But I'm saying, hypothetical, if I could, I'd just take every one of them home with me. Because neither one of these men deserve any of these wives they got. Hey, all they're doing is trying to make me and my wife have to be these bad people. I don't know where, like I told my wife, I don't know where they went wrong. But when they've had all these kids, I can definitely see where they went wrong. Shortly after that, they started getting ants in their pants and started acting ugly. I mean, it doesn't even scratch the surface. But I don't know what to tell her. I don't know what reason there is to live after you've had all your school stuff and you graduate. And for like me and her, we try to go out there and get jobs, and all they do is fucking lie to us. Oh yeah, they'll keep you for a couple of years, or they'll, but people that you work with or work under it don't work. I mean, it's good chances are you don't know any of the people that you work for or was going to work for. So it's just something me and my wife have to realize that these times everything's changed. I know I have. I realized a long time ago. But I've said things. Both sides have said things about each other that there's never going to be any compromising because they know that nobody means it, and it would be too late to try and do anything of any sort. I've had to shut mine completely out. I've had to shut my wife's out. I had no choice. I didn't want that, but that's a choice it had to come down to. It's not about whether me and my wife got married. That's what they want. That's what they want people to think. Yes, that might have upset them. I get that. But it's no worse than any of them back in their day doing something. They would have done the same thing we did too if they had the same exact things happening to them. Being pestered and texted and called and harassed. I never seen such bullshit I saw in the first month that my wife and I were together. All these goddamn people, these butthurt people calling and texting my wife every few minutes. And I know why. I definitely know why. But I'm saying it was stupid. She's an adult. She's not like this damn fucking people out here talking about Suboxone and all these other medicines, and they act like they have to be doped up on it just to make themselves get a buzz or feel good. My wife's much better than that. She didn't cut her wrist like they've said. She's never harmed herself. I just don't. What else? Like I said, I could pick her family apart. I could pick it at every turn. That's why there's no reason to suffer. I know it's the holidays, and I used to have a good time. Like I told her, my family, they used to put something on TV, but we used to sit there and just eat, cut up, talk. We'd have something on TV just for the sake of having it on TV, but it's on low or mute, because you're trying to have family time. And this is before the this is before the little brats like Dixie and JC were ever heard of. This is before a lot of the bullshit that my family had coming my way after I was turned 20, 22, 23 years old. Everybody wanted to change up and not be the same as they were when I was 10 years old. That same thing hurt people. I can tell you the same problem lies on both ends. And the only difference is, I guess, if you want to say there might be some sort of difference, it could be that, we don't all have the things that, would make somebody want to have you around, which is the things that you could like or find on the inside. Because there's no real reason other than the fact you think that you're not going to like them. And I told my wife the one thing that a lot of people don't want to admit to is that everybody's judgmental at some point. Everybody in their lifetime, it doesn't matter if it's your haircut, what color your hair could be, what skin color you got, somebody judges something. Size, what you look like, tall, skinny, fat, whatever, Everybody judges somebody on something. Whether they have a job or not, whether they have a car. Some people hate on people that works part-time or who have worked part-time. Oh, yeah, I think it's funny. They don't no longer work, so everything's a joke. Well, that's what a lot of her people did. Every time she tried to tell them something nice about me, oh, that's not enough. He should do this. He should be in our shoes. He should be doing that. I don't want to be. I don't want to be. I know they've said these things about me. It's crazy. They want us to be happy for things they do all the time. But then if we'd want something to try to tell them anything good whatsoever, if my wife was out volunteering somewhere, if I up and decided, hey, I could go out to work, I could just imagine their reaction would be nothing but negative. Because we don't work 20-hour shifts or whatever it is they work all the time. Well, I can't help it. Can you imagine all the less stress I would have if there wasn't all these goddamn kids had to put up with seeing them run around screaming? I mean, all the less stress that her people would have. You could chop this tree down, and a good portion of it is all that. If you just had grown-ups sitting there, it'd make a lot of difference. It'd make it quieter. I know everybody now will say, well, it's 10 years ago. There's 10 more years on top of how old they was then, but it doesn't make any damn bit of difference. Why do I want to get on that? They say I'm lying about everything. I'm not. I'm telling the truth. They ain't nothing to lie about. These damn kids ain't had their ass busted. They ain't had nothing they ain't had no privileges taken away from them. They've been running around like a bunch of jackasses back then, and that's what they treated these gatherings like. I said the one gathering I did like, the one gathering I did like that was the most, even though I didn't get to join in on anything, but the one that made the most sense, let's say it that way, was the one time they did the little Easter gathering because most of the kids got to go out there and get their energy out. And by the time they did all that and hunted all the eggs, and by the time everybody went back in, everybody was pooped. Everybody was tired. They wasn't yelling and screaming so much. And there was maybe one that was, or one or two of them, but my wife said, "Hey, we need to calm down in here." That's what I'm saying. Little things like that I could pick apart about her people, because they don't look their kids in the eyeballs. Obviously, they never look them in the eye when they're in trouble. They just sit there on their little phones or computers or whatever, and they just tell them half-heartedly. They tell them, "Oh, shut up! Oh, be quiet!" Not even look at them all. No eye contact, no tone of voice. They just half-heartedly do it, and that's what they're used to. That's what they were used to then. No wonder it was so loud. I remember times when I got briefed before I go anywhere. Not that I intended on doing that, but I saved the stuff that need to be outside. And the stuff that's on the inside stayed inside. There was different tones of voice. There was different manners. From what I've seen from a lot of people, they don't have any manners. Like I said, I can't even talk to grown-ups anymore. I can't talk to nobody. They won't sit down there and hush. Listen. Carry on conversation. Anything you say, their feelings get hurt. Their butt hurts. And I reckon as long as this continues, this trend, it's never going to change. Nothing will ever change. Everything's the same. The world's the same. Colors, trees, grass, animals. Nothing's changed there, obviously. But people have allowed all this hot garbage. and all the little peepers and all the gossip go to their head. All it takes is one person to say one negative thing about me or her or any person, and they'll believe that person before they ever come and get the other story. There's two sides to every story. But that's why it will never work. Not just for us, but for anyone out there who could be in our shoes right this minute. There is no hope for family gatherings anymore. No such thing, not whatsoever. I mean, if you're like us and you're a married couple out there, you might have had a couple of kids of your own, or maybe you don't have them. Who knows? But if you're out there and you're in the same situation as we are, you probably already know what I'm saying, so exact facts. Because you know that there's more people out there besides her family gets on my nerves. So there's got to be someone else out there probably getting the same treatment. Just don't see them and just ain't around them enough to know anything. But we know it happens. Because it happened to us and we're living proof of it. So yeah, I can answer it unless there's a miracle that happens out here and we was to find our unicorn bestie, maybe things would turn around. Maybe if that failed, and that's all we got left, it's the hope for. There's nothing else. I mean, you can't. It takes a special somebody to do something. Like I said, there's a lot of things me and my wife would like to change up, like to do. We'd like to hope to one day, if that did happen, that we could find us all a place and do the fun things that we'd like to do and have a good time. But it's not that me and my wife don't have a good time doing what we do here at the house, but I'm like her. It does. It gets old, but there's nobody that can change it at the moment. I don't know what it takes, but I know what ain't gonna get it done is is going out here and doing what these other people want you to do. It's like I say the other night. I don't care if these donation drives. I don't care if it's I don't care if it's things to help kids. I don't care if it's things to give food to the homeless. Man, my wife's always going to be stuck. These places are never, these types of places are not the places to find your unicorn besties. They're not designed for that. I know that. But the same places that and like I said, Feather could entertain going to the fair. People could entertain going to that stuff up there, but it's mostly religious stuff. It's mostly stuff that I don't socialize with very good. I can say I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not most people's cup of tea. But I realize, that I'm not one of these that can be just put some. You can't just put just anything in front of me and it work. I can upset somebody easy in 5 minutes, no less or less. Yeah, I mean, but if my family had been always as good as they treated me in the past, I wouldn't have minded either at that point. But everybody changes. Everybody's full of themselves. A couple of years ago, another one of them good examples. I went and I've given my mom probably more chances than anybody on this fucking planet alive to try to turn herself around and do right. But she always every time that the opportunity arose, she'd find a way to mess it up within a month, a week. It don't matter. You could be good one day and on a shit list the next day. I mean, the people that she obviously, like I said about my wife's people, obviously anybody they want to like them, they're going to lie to them and tell them they've always been good people. And that, of course, if they don't have the same likes as me, or if they might have a few things in common, like I said. But if you're in me and my wife's shoes, and we have a lot in common that her people doesn't have, or my people don't have, or anybody out here. I mean, we've had this whole unicorn bestie thing for 4 years going on now, and everybody that comes, it's like they have nothing in common. They have nothing good to say, nothing good to talk about. You can't put a smile on anybody's face. You can't. It's like you can't move. And I don't want to be somewhere where me and my wife's not wanted, and or don't feel like home. It doesn't make somebody happy for once instead of having to be like we are right now. But for that to happen, or to happen now, I mean, things would have to change. But I can't be on here, all day long and on live video, because I run out of things to talk about and I run out of things to say, and I don't want to have to fall asleep on here. And I already, as it is, like I said, I've had people just come out here. Me and my wife seen it the other night. And they say one or two things and they don't say nothing back at all. You try to reply to them, and they don't have no pictures, no nothing. You can't tell all you see is a name and somebody who has like a number or like a letter of some kind on a background, and they just lazy. They don't put nothing up. No, like I said, I ain't knocking for people that like some of the stuff my wife puts out on a playlist or something, but that's all you're good for. You ain't good otherwise. I mean, you're no good to talk to. You're no good to have anything fun with. It's just like I said, I realize that now. I mean, 10, 11 years ago, Fair could have had a few chances to, find a few things that maybe you won't find now for sure. But, it's changed. I mean, due to the things I've said, technology and just how people thinks about things and, you know, 2 or 3 subjects that gets everybody all tore up, and all the stuff on the news that that stays out there. Everybody pays more attention to that. You'd think these people went home with them. You'd think they actually knew these people that they get their butt hurt over all the time. If somebody says something bad about their little favorite little president or whatever, or has an opinion about anything that you think these people might get their little butt hurt on, then there you go. So, like I said, it would take something awful special. I can do what I can do with my wife because she understands me. Unlike most of you people out here, you'd want to last 2 or 3 minutes because you'd be so full of yourself to go tell me things that I didn't ask, didn't had no business talking about. Because unlike you guys, I want to try to talk about something good for once. I want to try to have some good time, but you drag us down, want us to talk about all the bad things that's happening in your life, and you want me to play Dr. Phil and all that stuff. We don't have time for that. We don't have time for all that stuff. Time's wasted. More time y'all spend around goofing and doing all these little games and talking about all your drama. The older we're gonna get. Now, man, we don't know how long we got, but I'm hoping we got to get a long time. But like I said, the days are getting every day goes by is another day, and won't have on this offer. Whoever that might be out there, probably won't be anybody off here. Probably somebody that had never heard of us been on YouTube. There's a lot of people probably don't know we're on here. Like I said, Facebook was kind of one of them gossip chain places. For some reason, a lot of them old bastards get on that fucking shit. For some reason about it. And the only thing they do. A lot of them people that do, all they do is just put their little pictures on there and get off. And probably, a lot of them probably just puts, I was out at the store, or or I went to a restaurant with me and my wife, or whatever, and they have like a little picture. Then they get off that there's no reason to friend anybody on them things. That's why I said there's no reason to friend nobody out here, because everything's funny. And then people like this other one we had up here this last time wanted to tell everybody about us. We didn't tell her to. She did it anyway. Did it get anywhere? No, nothing. That's why I'd hope that, the next time, if we do meet something, that they don't have to do that right away. I would advise them not to. Just so it gives everybody time and equal time, enough time to get to know a little something. They can find out later. It ain't gonna kill them. It's no worse than me and my wife going up there and getting married at the fucking courthouse and everybody finding out right after we did it, or whatever. We chose to tell them. We didn't want a whole big family thing up there. I looked there, at my wife and everything, and I told her, I said, we sat down one night, and I went through all the people I could think of, and all the ones I brought up. I said I had about less than 5 people, probably 5 or less. I'll bump it up to maybe 10. I'll say 10 or less. She had probably more on her end, but we sat down and wrote everybody down. And I said, out of all these people that we've thought of. How many of these could show up? Literally. So by the time we got through, I said, well, and I got to counting and, and everything. So the only ones I knew could show up would obviously be my dad and grandmother and probably my papa. He didn't work. But otherwise, I mean, it wouldn't have been that great. My mom said, well, I would have shown up if you just told me. Well, at that time, she's still down there in Harrison Bay. And I just thought, man, that's all we need. Just one person screwed up. We didn't have no flyers, no fancy crap. We went up there, had a short one, and it's just as good as if they'd have been a church wedding. And just to me, it lessened all the BS down, all the drama that could have potentially gone down. That's why me and my wife didn't tell anybody really. I didn't even know till the day of when she said something about wanting to do it. And I was the one that tried to talk her. Well, I didn't try to talk her out of it, but I was making sure. I asked her, I said, are you sure now before we go? This is the first trip me and my wife ever took. It was a walk. And we walked up to Meigs County Courthouse up here and walked a good ways. And I said, well, if we're going to do it, I need to try to get us a way up there without us being on the road too much, Didn't tell anybody we was going to do it. So we got up there and found out I needed to bring some money. Because I knew it would cost a little bit. I didn't know how much, but we had I had like 80 or 80 something dollars saved up. It was, so it's about half of it. So they all got together and they asked how we got up there, and I said we walked. And so they forked out the rest of it, and we was able to get married that day. Had a little bit of flyer, had a little fake flyers with a little bell on it. I at the time I think I had some kind of ring. I can't remember. We had a silver one. We didn't have a good one picked up, but we had a silver one, so we used that. But I mean, we cut corners where we'd cut corners. I mean, if you're gonna get your butt hurt on something like that, just because you didn't get to plan a big cake or a big old shindig of a thing and all day, which I wouldn't have wanted anyway. It's too much trouble to go through. They'd have been griping if they'd have had to take all that out and imagine all the planning that would have had to go into it. That would have been miserable. I mean, you'd have heard it after some time had passed, probably not long. But, oh my God, I can't believe this and I can't believe that. And I just didn't want to hear it. I mean, it's simple. It was the easiest thing to do. If you don't want to fool with family and you don't want to fool with the potential backlash, then that's what you do. Simple stuff like that. And but anyway, I just want to make sure that I kind of put out here a little something that that kind of tells kind of why everything went the way it went. And my wife's been putting her mama's stuff before between her and that stupid dumbass. One time that shit happened, there's like one of them damn Lifetime movies on crack, because it's just stupid. Man, it's just stupid to involve your fucking daughters and your fucking kids in it as it is. I mean, I remember when that stuff would occasionally, not usually happen in front of me, but you know, but I mean, the time that my dad brought up that time he did smack my mama, of course very combative, and she'll confront you. She'll stand there like a bull anyhow, as I say. But I remembered that when I was a kid. And I remember, at the time, I was, uh, I can't remember if me and yeah, me and Darren was there, so I had to be. Well, he was born in '89. I'm not sure how old he was. This was probably '91. He might have been maybe 2.5, 3. I was about, I'd say, well, what would that be? About 7, somewhere in there. But anyway, I remember it going down, and it's no different than when I was 27. My mom pulled the same stunt she's pulled in front of everybody she's ever had a problem with. People tries to avoid having conversations with her, but she's always kind of been that person that's went out and tore people's stuff up, antennas. My dad one time went down there and she pitched a big old fit because he wouldn't bring him damn kids that he didn't have seat belts for. She chased him all the way up to Cleveland, Tennessee. The cop at that time back then had saw Danny and pulled him over. Said, "What's going on? This ain't like you, speed and all that stuff." And he said, "My ex is chasing me." And he said, cop I reckon takes off, tries to go after him. She fled wherever she fled to that night, and they gave up. And the cop came back and made sure my dad was all right and everything. But talk about something that I wouldn't have forgive would have been something if something happened to my dad that night. I mean, she's lucky, and nothing happened to him. It's talking about something that's not forgivable. Somebody losing their dad over something that was so easy to have worked out. It could have ended ugly. As much as I don't like anybody losing anybody, if I had chosen, I wish my mama would have freaking died that night because she deserved it more than Danny would have. Danny was a great guy. I mean, like I said, nobody's perfect, but if you could have put that definition somewhere close by, as close as you could have, my dad was about the best you could get. But like I said, it's just ridiculous. Unfortunately, people as they get older, and as we apparently gonna get older, and probably won't have anything for it to do from year to year. I mean, we're gonna have to do what we always do. Tell like I said, if something proves us wrong, well, we'll be welcome to see it happen. But otherwise, I don't see anything. Like I said, you can do all the charity work, you can do all the things that people want you to do year round out here. But it doesn't really help anything as far as we go. We're still going to be sitting here at the house with nothing to do. House chores and things of that nature. Things like that. So that doesn't help. might make a couple of kids smile, or, if you go to one of these little functions, these little church things, but in the end, it doesn't do me and my wife any good. It's just something temporary. Then it goes away until the next time. Like a lot of these events and parades and all that stuff, it happens like once a year. You barely get probably 200 people to come out at the fair as it is in Meigs County. And so that's just about it. they used to have it all week. Now they cut it down about 4 or 5 days, you know. But yeah, it just life is what it is. Yeah, it just depends. Just depends on what cards, you know, choices people make and what cards you're dealt. Sometimes you just can't win for losing, as they say. But anyway, hope everybody else, so besides me and my wife, has a happy holidays. We'll try to do the best we can do, you know. But anyway, well, might make something else later. Let's see, I'll end it now.